The Savvy Diva Show, all about the money, building wealth, talking finances, business credit, time to invest in yourself. Hey, the Savvy Diva Show, take it to the next level, time to be great, giving you plenty advice. This is mobile talk, even real estate. Let's go. Leticia, here to help get it done. Live the lifestyle that you want. If you ready for it, let's go. This is the Savvy Diva Show. Woo!
So for you guys that are joining us this evening, Miss Leticia Isabel Howard, this is her second time doing and facilitating this type of session for us. And if you guys missed her the first time, you really missed a treat, and you're in for a really big treat this evening. So Leticia is a business credit and funding expert. She is also a real estate investor and a wealth strategist. Leticia is the CEO of Savvy Diva Enterprises, which is a consulting firm that helps small businesses to build credit and obtain the funding they need to start or grow their businesses. She's an active real estate investor, and Leticia also teaches her clients how to build wealth through investing in real estate. She lives here in Atlanta with her husband and her two daughters, Makayla and Amaya. She has been happily married since 2008 to Chris. She's the president of the board Essence of Hope Incorporated, which mission is to eradicate homelessness. She has a Master of Business Administration and BS in Finance. And her favorite quote is, "She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future." Proverbs 31:25. And I think these must be her two favorite books. These are ebooks. Did you author these books, Leticia?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, I missed that. The two books are 5 Ways to Set Your Kids Up for Success, which is really important, and 6 Secrets to Building Business Credit. So without any further conversation from me, I want to introduce you guys to Leticia. And trust me, you are in for not just a treat, but a wealth of information that you can use and implement as we all try and figure out how to best manage our finances. So, Ms. Howard.
Thank you so much, Vonda, and to all of the ladies of the coalition. I always enjoy being with you all. You are kingdom builders as well. And I just welcome all of the generational curse breakers that are on the line with us in front of your computer screens, wherever you are. You're here for a reason. So hopefully I will be able to deliver on whatever that reason is, so that we can continue to empower each other to take our finances to a different place. So that's why I'm here and enjoy being with y'all. So I won't spend too much time talking about me. I will have a slide that will kind of briefly go over a lot of what Vonda just shared, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. We'll get right to it. Okay, so I'm not seeing, oh, there we go. There's my share screen. All right, if somebody can give me a thumbs up that y'all can see that, I'll get started. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So what are we talking about? We're talking about finessing your finances this evening, budgeting and personal credit. I'm going to give you some tools that are going to help you to, number one, create your household budget, how to manage that, and also how to maximize your credit. Those two things are interrelated. So I want to make sure you understand how one impacts the other. So here is our agenda for this evening. We're going to talk about the cold hard facts about credit as it relates to the Black community. We're going to talk about your money mindset, why that's important, and how to have the right mindset about money. We're going to talk about how to create your budget and manage your budget. You're going to learn about credit scoring, how that works, what are the laws that are in place to protect you as a consumer. We're going to talk about how you can repair your credit. You know, sometimes life happens and you need a way to bounce back from that. So I'll give you some practical strategies that you can use. And then I'll also talk about how we can help. So you've already heard a lot of this, CEO of Savvy Diva Enterprises. I'm also the founder of the Finesse Your Fear Entrepreneurship Academy, which I'm extremely proud of. And in that effort, it again is all about empowering our communities through financial literacy and entrepreneurship. At the end of the day, that's my headline that'll be on my tombstone. So here are the cold hard facts about credit. 54% of Black Americans report either having no credit or a poor to fair credit score, which is considered to be any score below 640. Over half of Black Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which could impact your payment history and the rate at which you have to use your credit to get by. Sometimes you got to rely on that credit to be able to make it from check to check. And Black Americans tend to have higher rates of student loan debt than the average person, and only about half own a credit card, which can be a significant help in building credit if it's used correctly. So we all know what student loan debt does to your ability to qualify for additional credit, to qualify for a mortgage. We know what that debt does to your budget, right? Because you got to make that payment if you don't have some type of deferment arrangement. So, money mindset. This is going to be some stuff it's just going to really make you think, right? So, I want you to drop your answers to this question in the chat. What emotions do you feel when you think about money? Is it stress, anxiety, fear, confidence? Think about that. If you have to consider putting your relationship with money into an emotion, what does that look like? The reasons why people struggle with money are excessive debt, living above your means. I'm sure none of us know about that, right? And then also having a negative money mindset. So think about these quotes. I'm sure each of you have heard at least one of these. Money is the root of all evil. Anybody heard that before? I know I have.
Yes.
Making money is hard. Money can't buy happiness. So these are all things that evoke negative emotions, right? If it feels difficult, that's a negative emotion. If you talk about something being evil, that's a negative emotion. If you talk about what it can't do for you, that is a negative emotion. That's going to impact how you perceive money and your mindset around that. So I'm going to challenge you tonight to change your mindset about money and take control of your finances. So the first step is to think about it differently. So when we talk about shifting your money mindset, people who have a positive money mindset look for opportunities instead of seeing roadblocks. Recognize that every financial situation is fixable. You can recover. They see the value of asking for help instead of struggling silently. Pride will get you nowhere as it relates to getting your finances in order. If you need help, ask for it. And then accept even the small steps will add up to progress, even if it's slow progress. Any forward movement is movement in a positive direction. So think about how to change your money mindset to look more like this as compared to what we just talked about on the previous slide.
Miss Leticia, don't mean to interrupt, but
Yes.
I was just wanted to be sure you saw the comments in the chat. Most people responded with anxiety, or stress. So be nice to hear your comments related to that.
Thank you. I couldn't see that initially, but I've got that popped up now. So I'm taking a.
And I saw a comment said happy.
Happy. That's
yes,
okay.
Happy and safety.
Awesome.
And before we go forward, we did not mention that Leticia will be asking questions. She's going to ask a few questions, maybe 2 or 3. but listen out for those questions because they're going to be driven by a prize, whoever answered first in the chat.
So you're going to see a couple of different polls in the presentation. So this one that just says audience poll, that's not a prize related question. This is just for me to engage with you, okay? So the ones that are going to qualify for the prize, it will say prize poll. So I just want to make that clear distinction. But I want you to engage with me throughout the presentation, regardless of whether or not it's a prize question, okay?
Thank you, Leticia.
Of course, of course. So we've talked about this one, about your emotions as it relates to money. All right, so let's get into budgeting. So this is an example budget. And don't worry about trying to screenshot this. You will have access to a budgeting tool. So don't worry about trying to grab it or anything. You'll have access to this. But the first step to creating a monthly budget is you need to know what money you've got coming in, right? So your income from all sources, if you've got W-2 income, if you've got a side hustle, if you've got, SSI, whatever the case is, take a note of all of the different income sources you have and estimate what that monthly income should be. All right. Now you're going to do the same thing for all of your expenses. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get this list together, but I want you to think very comprehensively about everything that you spend money on. If it's something that results in money leaving your household, put it on that list. Okay. So these are some examples of expenses here: your mortgage or rent, insurance, your cell phone or internet bill, your utilities, groceries, childcare. If you go out to eat, put it on the list. If you have subscriptions, sometimes we have Netflix or anything like that, put those on the list. That's real money that's leaving your budget. And there's a line item on here for a play fund. If you have any type of entertainment that you do on a regular basis, you should be accounting for that in your budget. Okay. So we don't think that it's expected for you not to do things that are outside the budget. It happens, but keep a note of the money that you're spending. And then for the next month, make sure there's a line item in your budget that compensates for that. Now you're going to talk about your savings goal. Capture that. Have one. If you don't have a savings goal, I encourage you to do so, because what you're doing is creating some cushion. So, things happen. Cars break down. Your AC might go out in your house. There are always going to be things that are going to come up that are outside your budgeted expenses. Right? So savings is designed to be that what if cushion for you. So typically I would recommend having a savings budget equal to whatever let's just say your monthly expenses, just round number, is $1,000 per month. Then you want to have savings equal to 6 months of expenses. So your savings would need to be around $6,000, right? But know what your expenses are. That's going to drive how much you need to have in savings for your emergency fund. Last time we had this session, someone even suggested that maybe, given the times that we're in right now, maybe we need to have even more than 6 times your budget in your savings. I think it couldn't hurt. And then next, you're going to track all of your actual income, expenses, and savings each month and compare that against your budget. So how well did you do in managing your budget? Did you go over budget or did you come in under? You need to know whether or not you're meeting your budget target. If you went over your budget, that means that you spent money on something that wasn't budgeted. You need to be adjusting this on a regular basis. Okay, so positive number means that you did good, you had money left over. All right, keys to managing your budget. It is all about discipline. So let's talk about cash flow. You hear people refer to that term, but what is cash flow? This is an actual formula. Remember this formula. It is income minus expenses. So again, if you've got positive cash flow, that means you've got more income than expenses. If you have negative cash flow, you've got more expenses than income. You need to know what that means, because cash flow, positive cash flow, keeps you from getting into a bind and having to pull from savings, or if you don't have adequate savings available, using your credit. And so that's how you start getting into credit issues when you're having negative cash flow, right? That becomes your emergency fund if you don't have savings. So let's talk about this. How can you increase your cash flow? There's two sides to this equation, right? There's the income and the expenses. So you can do one of two things. You can find ways to increase your income, right? Getting that side hustle, working extra hours at work, whatever the case is that will create more money coming in. You can do that to increase your cash flow. The other side of that formula is reducing your expenses. So you're gonna have to be real with yourself and ask, is this thing a need or a want? If it's not a need, is it really necessary, right? That keeps you from making those impulse buys. I love shoes. I love, nice things, but my budget doesn't always accommodate that. So I need to ask myself, do I really need that new pair of shoes? Probably not. And if the answer to that is it's a want, not a need, then I should have some discipline that says I shouldn't be spending that money right now if it's not budgeted. Okay. And we've talked about having savings equal to 6 months of household expenses. And then direct deposit can help you save. If you've got money that is going straight into a savings account versus your checking account, it's a whole lot easier for you to save that money because you don't necessarily see it. And so I would encourage you to make it hard for you to get access to those funds. So I have a savings account that I'm from Birmingham that, I opened this account at a credit union in Birmingham. I actually have 2 Alabama credit unions that I have accounts at. And guess what? I don't have a debit card associated with those accounts. So the money goes there and it makes it hard for me to get access to it. There are some credit union service centers, but the closest one I'd have to drive 30 minutes to get there. It's inconvenient for me, right? So I made it hard for me to get access to those funds intentionally to force me to save. So think about direct deposit to leverage as a tool in that process.